Chapter 69. As the Father was revealing His love vibrations to me evermore, as my soul desired to experience these very same vibrations evermore, I started trusting evermore that communion with the Father, rather than the prayer service I would see in the synagogue or during the family prayer. I began to perceive that the Father created the whole of creation not without a purpose. He made it in order that all would feel bliss and love within creation. The way I also started feeling it ever more, and gradually it was becoming ever clearer to me that what I was to teach all people, irrespective of their ranks and possessions, thoughts and actions. The Father is one to all, and to each of you. And He loves all and each, much stronger than a loving earthly mother and father love their child. However strong their love might be, even taken together. Even the love of all the parents taken together cannot by far match the Father's love that demands nothing from the child who is loved. It demands nothing. It only elevates the soul of the child to such a level that the child ceases to behave in a bad manner and stops doing evil. The child ceases to be angry and revengeful. And it is not just that he would be taught this by his loving parents, but because these very loving parents love him with the very same love vibrations of the Father. They treat him the way their souls feel that Father is treating them. And the child starts feeling these very vibrations of his parents very early, since the cradle, since the very birth, since his development in the mother's womb, since the very sexual bond of the two children of the Father of the opposite sex who love each other and the Father and all, so that all these love vibrations of the Father, they would also pass during their most intimate physical relationship of their two bodies filled with the love vibrations of the Father, and bathing in these love vibrations of the Father, together with the invited Father with whom they would all together participate in this love procreation process. And even prior to this, when these two children of the Father of the opposite sex had been brought together by those very love vibrations of the Father, formerly even strangers that had known nothing about the existence of each other, to be the future earthly parents loving their children, and who become not only a part of the family, but also the co-creators of the new life of the Father, together with the Father himself. I had the desire to explain this to my brethren while in the human flesh 2,000 years ago. However, at that time, the human environment, traditions, and views on the family, religion, and God did not allow me to present this marvelous light. They were incapable of understanding it. They could not even understand my explanation about a communion family of the Father and about a common family of the Father. Therefore, I had to attune myself to the concepts of that time and expand them as much as possible. And the fact that John the Baptist, prior to me, had already been preaching for about 1 year, according to his own understanding, the coming of a new kingdom, and calling on all to repent and get baptized, for the kingdom was already at hand, also had an impact on me. And right before encountering me in the river of Jordan, when he baptized me, he had already started preaching that he had been baptizing with water, but after him there would come the one for whom he had been paving the path, who would baptize with the Spirit. The prophesying by John the Baptist had also put me within the concept of the kingdom rather than within that of the family. However, much of my heart was tending to preach the Father's family. I did not want to confuse the people and cause them even greater bewilderment between the prophecy of John the Baptist and my message to all people, to all the Gentiles and the Jews. Therefore, I was using such a significant and dear to me the Jews' concept of the kingdom, for they had been waiting for so long for the Messiah to come and occupy the vacant throne of King David and to liberate them all from the oppression of the Gentile empire. Then I decided, being alone on the mountain, when the Father showed me a magnificent vision of creation, and when I saw my true place within the whole hierarchy of creation that was full of love and in service to creation within the supreme authority, I made my decision of carrying the Father's message through setting up a spiritual kingdom in the hearts of men that all people would establish in their own hearts. It is then that the true spiritual kingdom will reign throughout the planet and match the quality of the Father's family, being different merely by its name. However, now while I'm transmitting these teachings of mine through the apostle of the present times, I say to all of you indeed that you are ready to hear my teaching about the Father's family, and even more, that all creation, even as the family itself, is made up of a different frequency energy vibration. And within the framework of these teachings of mine, my concept of the kingdom is expanded very much, but your soul and mind have sufficiently progressed forward to receive this type of teaching as a deeper teaching than any other teaching up to date has been explained to you by anyone. The fact that your soul and mind have achieved this readiness is testified by the open soul and developed mind of my present apostle, that he can receive this teaching of mine and pass it on to others. And you can do it too. 2,000 years ago, this was still impossible. Exactly in a similar way, the mind and soul of my apostle expanded my gospel from the fatherhood of God and the brotherhood of man to the brotherhood of the whole of creation. This was not possible 2,000 years ago. The evidence of this is not only my tragic death, but also even the distortions of my teachings about the kingdom and the brotherhood that are still restraining you up to date. But you are mature enough to comprehend and receive a deeper truth, as well as to share it with others. 2,000 years ago, I could not explain to men anything about life on other planets, where my other brethren lived as well. Today, at a young age, while still being children, you hear about aliens from other planets. You are also seeking contacts with the intelligent living entities on other planets. And they do exist. And you still have encounters with other life forms in store. Only you are not yet fully ready for them. You still have too much fear that is being converted into your aggressive self-defense. You still need to open up to the Father from within to become hospitable hosts to your brethren from other planets, rather than annihilating them out of fear, taking them for your enemies. It is particularly now that your mind has achieved a really high level of material development as well as that in the field of ideas, that it is necessary to supplement it with high ideals and a spiritual bond with the Father, your brethren, and the whole of creation. If only you open up to the Father with all your soul, if only you set up a living communion with Him, then your mind shall achieve such spiritual changes that now are beyond its imagination. And that what you consider now as the acme of your mental achievement, the spaceships, aircraft, computers, automobiles, telephones, and other means meant for communication, travel, and your sustenance, you will look upon it as toys for the children, the way now you look upon the toys the children play with.